Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Band Chat. Y'all know me. I'm your fantastic hostess. I am Bonnie Freimuth from Innocence Born, and today I got yet another banger for you. I've been waiting for this one for quite a while. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dave Farrell and Eve Clark from Trip the Wire. Yay! We always clap saying it. Yay! Good morning.
Morning.
Good
Thank you
morning.
so much for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
So for everybody locally, we know you guys, and we've shared a stage together a couple of times. It's always been a pleasure. But for those who have not met you, um, please tell everybody what you do in the band and a little bit about Trip the Wire.
I'm the front person. I sing and play guitar, rhythm guitar, and we are a high energy hard rock band with a retro 80s vibe. That's kind of what we call it. That's our little tagline because our stuff is fresh and modern, but it definitely has those 80s influences, and people point it out all the time, and we love that. Dave.
And how about you, Dave?
Well, I'm the back person. Uh, and I play lead guitar and yeah, write a lot of the music and we're all involved in that. But yeah, we definitely have that 80s throwback, kind of call ourselves the new wave of old school heavy metal stuff. You know what I mean? It's like the like stuff we grew up on, right?
Yeah, I can completely relate to that, and I can attest that you guys definitely have. You've got this really, really cool um, the energy between I think what it is the influence of the 80s and keeping mindful of that while moving forward with a new view on it. And I can kind of relate to that because I've always said that we're kind of an old school heavy metal band with new school vibes. You know what I mean? That's
Sure.
Yep,
kind of what we are. So guys, you
totally.
are from I might be wrong on this, but are you guys are from Seattle, Washington?
That
I'm
area, yeah.
I'm originally from New York. I grew up in the Bronx and Queens, and I moved out to the West Coast when I was 22.
Oh, so you're from Ivan DePrum's area then. That's where he grew up too.
Oh yeah?
Drummer for
Nice.
Red Zombie. So, guys, you have been very heavily in working on a brand new album. Your album cover, which I'm going to put somewhere, is so sick. Can you not only tell us a little bit about the new album, what we're going to be expecting, and then tell me about what was the influence behind this badass? I mean, I absolutely love this album cover. I just think it's so like not only perfect, but the artwork is just brilliantly done. I think it says everything it needs to say without like having this big ass title and all these, all the fluff. It's really just fantastic. So I wanted to talk about that.
Cool. I'm excited to talk about that. So our first album, when I was looking for a cover, I wanted, I typed in Google, I typed in tripwire because I wanted like some kind of explosion thing maybe. I didn't know what I wanted. I was just like looking. And I found these wire sculptures by oh man, and I can't even think of his name right now. Um, anyway, um, I found some beautiful wire sculptures, particularly one of a bungee jumper. And if you look at our first album, it's a white background with this bungee jumper lady. Um, and I reached out to ask the guy if I could use his artwork, and turns out he had passed away like a few months before.
Oh
But
man.
I wound up hitting up his girlfriend, and she said, "Yeah, go ahead." And I donated to a special cause for him, like a fund for him, and in as a thank you to use the artwork. So going forward with the second album, I thought, well, why not keep up this trend of using wire sculptures for our cover album artwork? And so I found this other one by an artist named Georgie Polanco, I think. I'm not sure of his name either. Geez, I should have had this ready. But yeah, so that image, it's called Reach for the Stars. It's one of his sculptures, and he's got such amazing artwork. And I'll get you his name, so if people want to look him up.
Thank you.
I believe he's in Spain. Um, but I reached out to him and said, "Oh my goodness, I love your sculpture called Reach for the Stars. Can I use that for for our band album artwork? And what would you charge me?" And he goes, "Oh, go ahead. You don't have to, you don't have to pay me.
Wow.
Just So I told him, well, I'll be sure to mention your name and stuff like that. And so we have, and we will again. Um, so yeah, I just thought it was a really beautiful image, and I think we might continue that trend for each album, do a different wire sculpture in a different pose. And I love that they're so far been women, women wire sculptures.
Yeah, they're
and
absolutely gorgeous. And I didn't realize that they were actual sculptures until you just told me that. I mean, but looking at it,
yeah,
it's really mesmerizing. It definitely does. Like you can sit and kind of reflect on it. And
yeah.
so, I mean, with that stated, I guess there's some sort of reflection, in your music somewhere that must coincide with that. You want to talk about the music going into this album?
Yeah, I'll start real quick and then I'll let Dave go. Yeah, I feel like it's very freeing the way she's just kind of like reaching for the stars and just, going for it. And I feel like, with our first album, it was just kind of getting to know each other and putting a bunch of stuff in the pot together and figuring out who we are and what we sound like. And I feel like this album we've gotten closer to that. Um, Dave writes a lot of the music. He'll bring it in and be like, "Here's this idea we have," and then we'll come in and be like, "Oh, that's cool. Let's move this around. Let's move that around. I'm going to add this. I'm going to take away that." And then I write the lyrics and melodies. Johnny helps me with melodies or lyrics. Sometimes he'll hand me a bunch of words and we'll make them poetic. Um, and yeah, a lot of the stuff on this album is a lot heavier than we've been doing. And I'll let Dave talk about like where he gets his inspiration or whatever you want to talk about with the music, Dave.
It's divine.
Yeah.
uh,
I,
no, I just sit around playing the guitar a lot. I just come up with riffs, and one thing I like to do. I mean, I have recording capabilities at home, and so I'll just write like I call them test beds. I'll just I go here's a cool riff, and what can I do with this? And sometimes they come together like in a couple of days. Sometimes I have files that go back, a couple of years, and I'll go, oh, what was this one? And I'll open it up and go, oh yeah, that was kind of cool. And maybe inspiration hits. But when I feel like I've got something cool, the guys will go, hey, what do you got? And I'm like, oh, here, try this, or yeah. I mean, there's no one way that it happens. You know what I mean? It's just yeah, I mean, there's been a couple times when Johnny's come over to my place with a riff, and he's like, "Hey, I got this riff. I want you to record it and do something with it," and so he'll play it, and it'll sit around for a couple of days, and I'll start messing around with it, and it'll start taking shape of a song. But it's yeah, so it's yeah.
Yeah, and it's really I feel like we I think we've got a little bit more Johnny represented on this second album too, because sometimes he has stuff that he's recorded, and he'll send that over, and it's really it's really beautiful to hear our influences come together and take shape as a team because they're very different. Johnny's more like I want to say like Motorhead, like punkish, like darker kind of stuff, and um, while Dave does have that Black Sabbathy kind of dark flair, it's also um, a little more bright and um, yeah, hard to say, but putting it all together, and then once we add the melodies that I bring and the lyrics, and once Doug does his thing on the drums, it's kind of beautiful and magic.
so for those people who don't know, can you tell us who Johnny and what he does in the band? And
Johnny plays
you just
bass.
mentioned the drummer, so we've got that part.
Yes. Johnny plays bass, and that's his
Okay.
nickname. He actually has, you can follow him on Facebook as Johnny Plays Bass. Yeah, and then Johnny Massey. And Douglas Peters is our drummer.
So, Eve, you are an amazing singer. I mean, your voice is insane to me.
Thank
I,
you.
I absolutely like every time you're on stage. I'm just like, gosh,
Hi.
this rocks.
Thank you. I
Where
love
do you
yours
take?
as well.
Thank you. I'm still learning, but we're,
Same here.
I get there
Always.
all the time. What is
Always.
your biggest influence, and how did you get into singing?
Well, I started out really young, like with anything I was hearing. I had so many different influences from my different family members. Like my dad liked country and classical. My mom liked disco and Barbara Streisand and Neil Diamond and Diana Ross, and those are not vocal influences necessarily, but and then my brothers, one of them liked Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath and Queen and Talking Heads, and the other one liked freestyle and rap and hip hop. Um, my in my teen years, that's when to me, I always feel like when, you're 13 to 15, that's when you really start developing, who you are and as far as who your influences are. And my biggest vocal influences before that were probably like Whitney Houston. But once I hit the teen years, it was Steven Tyler, Sebastian Bach, um, Jeff Tate. Um, yeah, just those big powerhouse, like, Jeff Keith, Tesla. We were just listening to him yesterday at London Bridge Studio. We had talked about it with Jonathan, and he was like, "Oh, Tesla," and he put it on, and we were just singing along. But yeah, it's all that Steven Tyler umbrella, right? Everybody under him or Robert Plant, like just really, yeah. Ann Wilson's another one. But yeah, I've always been into singing since I could talk, and I was in the chorus. Back east, we call it chorus, not choir. But in junior high school and stuff like that. So yeah.
So what about you, Dave? How long you been playing?
A long time because I started getting into playing. I think I was about 12. So yeah, I've been playing over 40 years. Yeah, hurts to say that.
So how have all these influences, how have they really played a part in this new album? And then second question on that would be, what's the biggest difference between the first album that you did and the more recent one that you're about to drop?
Um, so
I love when
uh,
I make people go, hmm.
yeah, yeah. So I guess just a quick, easy answer of how my influences show up on this album is Sebastian Bach, I guess. Like on the first album, um, I've been told by some people that I'm a pretty clean singer, even though I do like some raspy stuff, like that, when I hit notes, they're kind of like crisp and clean. And I didn't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing, but it was presented like a good thing. But in the second album, I feel like there's a lot more grit. And I really try to channel those influences from like somebody like Sebastian. That's just really like gravelly and raspy. And I actually have to thank Jonathan Plum, our producer at London Bridge, for helping bring that out in me because he actually asked me to do that when we were tracking the first few songs. He's like, "Oh, that's great. That sounds awesome." He's like, "Can we try something?" He's like, "Can you try to put a little more dirt on it?" And I was like, I guess I could. I'm like, I don't know if I want to hurt my voice, if I will. So he kind of him opening that door got me to play a little bit more with my voice in a safe way. And I found that I can do these things without damaging it or hurting it. So a lot more like screams and raspiness.
Oh, I can't wait to hear that. Can't wait
Yes.
to hear that. A lot of people ask me. In fact, one of my coworkers just found out about me. I work for a company who has no idea that I'm in a band, and I've never said anything. And so somebody came across something I did, and was like, "Is this you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." And they were like, "How do you have a voice?" And I'm like, "I train really hard to be able to do that." Um, I can't wait to hear you more gritty. I mean your clean sound is freaking phenomenal. I mean just fucking amazing. But
Thank you.
to put a little stank on that, oh, that is going to be something to behold. Um, I was also going to say that I love when a producer comes in, and I'm very fortunate as well to have a fantastic producer. I love when they come in and they kind of know you enough that they're like, let's try that. Like the challenge in that for me is one having that influence. I love that input, but two, he hears things that I would never even consider doing, and it has really changed the way that our album structure has become. I listened back to our first EP, and my bandmates might kill me for this, but it's so amateurish in comparison to what I'm doing now. And part of that is because I do have that influence in the studio. I do have, a lot of input into our music, and I think it's really, really changed the way that I'm. I think what it does is it kind of gives me some balls a little bit. It kind of gives me the courage to just be like, okay, why not? What's the worst that's going to happen? and they're always
Absolutely.
right. So I can completely relate to that. Um,
Yeah, absolutely. And I've done like the vocal fry thing before, but only in short bursts. And I was afraid, like you said, and it's like that helped me like kind of just, well, let's try it. We're almost done with the session today. If I lose my voice, I lose my voice. But what I discovered was I was fine. And so I started doing it more and more. And I'm like, oh, I know how to do this now. It's like, okay, it's not here, it's here. And it's like you feel like where the placement is and you understand how to do it without hurting.
yeah, I laugh all the time when people ask me. They're like, "How do you do that?" And I'm like, "I've got kids and a husband, bro. Trust me, this is nothing." I've been taught for years how to do this. No big deal. So, what are you guys up to now? Are you still in the studio? Are you still recording?
Well, we we got a few odds and ends to tie up, but I think we're about 99% there. And then of course we got to do the mixing and the mastering and stuff. But yeah, there's about how many songs we got on there? Eve? Now about
7. Oh, total.
total. Yeah, there'll be
12.
like we got seven and we have
12.
Wow,
12. 12.
that's a
So
full album.
when
See,
we put this out, yeah, you're gonna get your money's worth.
yeah, when you, first of all, when's it going to drop? And second of all, holy shit, because a lot of people are just throwing out EPs and singles, and it is so refreshing to actually get to, to sit down and talk to some people that are doing a full album. I mean, uh, that's amazing. I love hearing that. So, when is it dropping? Um, or if you have a date, and then two, let's talk about the process of getting 12 songs on one album because I had to take some time.
So we're kind of releasing them like one at a time. So we started releasing singles from this back in like January, February, I
February.
guess.
February,
And
yep.
yeah, and our plan is like we'll have a physical album available when this is done, but we're not going to put the whole thing up online because we don't get, you don't get shit from online streaming,
Facts.
unfortunately. So eventually it'll all get there, but once it's all ready, we'll have a CD that will sell that shows, but people that want to download the whole album for free are going to have to wait a while until we go through the process of putting all the singles up. So,
And that seems to
um,
be the new way.
yeah,
That's part of the new formula. It used to be you just put the damn album out and then you put the singles out. And now I'm starting to realize that there's like this formula out there that
yeah,
you know, and in a sense it's so much work for the artist, and I don't think people realize the amount of work it takes to actually put a single out, do the whole, uh, promoting behind it, get the
yeah,
video done, the time it takes. I eventually get to a point where I start getting like impatient, and I'm like, we haven't had anything out new in a while. Let's, throw something out
yeah.
there. And it's kind of a mistake in a way because, there definitely is a formula to this. How long did it take you to record
Well,
this entire thing? Or, like, I guess you guys are still, in the process of it, but how long have you been working on it?
yeah. Well, we started recording this last summer, right? And
Yeah.
we changed drummers in the middle of the process, so that kind of slowed things down. But once it's kind of funny because it's like we the songs we recorded last summer we had been sitting on for a while, and then once we got the drummer situation resolved, it was like the faucet just opened up and just all these new songs just started coming tumbling down the pike. So it was like a good, it was a good move for the band. It was a good move for everybody.
That's a very difficult. It's extremely difficult to switch bandmates, as you probably know. I've
Yeah,
done it several times. Uh, we're all still really good friends and the whole nine yards. It's just that
yeah,
people's lives change. And
mhm,
when you have a lineup change, people, there's definitely a stigma behind, you know, don't change bandmates, God forbid. But I really found it to be a very refreshing, kind of like an open book. Like people go on, they have lives, band life's not for everybody. So
yeah,
it's really nice. But when you do bring in somebody new and those floodgates open, um, for me, I'm like, you know what, if the chemistry is there, and as long as, you're not changing your, your lead singer too often. Um, I just don't see the big deal about it. You know what I mean? I think that if you kind of grow as a band, and so if getting a new drummer was what you needed to do to to push yourselves forward, then I just don't see. I'm not one of those people that are like, oh, God forbid. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's a good change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've known Doug for a long time, and when we first put this band together, he was like kind of on my short list of people to get a hold of, but the timing just wasn't right, you know. So when he got a hold of me, when he heard that we were looking for a new drummer, and he got a hold of me, and I was like, holy shit, we don't need to look anymore. We got the guy, you know. I mean, we wound up auditioning a couple people, but in the back of my mind, I knew, you know, I was
Yeah.
like Doug, these guys don't know it yet, but you're the guy.
Yeah.
I'll bring him around. Don't worry.
I remember when Dave told us about Doug, and he was just, I remember his face being like, like, oh, this is like a really good drummer. And I was like, okay, we'll see. I was like, I didn't, in my head, I was like, okay. And then, yeah, wow. We auditioned like, I don't know, like five guys maybe. And
Yeah,
there was,
something like
there was
that.
no question.
Yeah, I mean they were all good, but it was
They
just,
were all great. But
you know,
when,
but
yeah, we were like,
it's
oh
just,
man, this is going to be a tough decision. And then all of a sudden Doug was there and we're like, oh, okay.
When
And
you
his,
know, you
his
know.
personality,
yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
you know,
personality is
and
amazing.
he comes from kind of like the same background musically as I do. I mean, I'm like I said, I've known him for a long time, and I've played with him in other bands before, so it was
What
like,
I
yeah,
what I love about Doug too, and his taste in music is also that while he does come from like so those guys, actually all the guys in the band are about 10 years older than me, and they know different bands, or they're really into different bands that I just touched the surface on. But what I love about Doug is he's like all over the board. Like not only does he know all that stuff from your time, from his time, but he knows a lot of like the late 80s and like 90s stuff. So I love that.
Yeah, I think again it really comes down to like the chemistry of the band. But I do definitely, Dave, understand what you mean. I walked in from losing a guitarist one afternoon.
mm,
I walked into Club Hectic. I met up with Doc. A lot of people know who Brian Dietrich is. Um, he's from your guys' area, and
Yeah, he's
there was
from
something.
down there.
I took one look at him, and I'm not even joking. I looked at the rest of the band. I go, "That's him," and they're like, "What?" And like, "That's him. That's the guy." There's a reason we don't have a second guitarist right now. That's him. They thought I was crazy. Thought I was crazy until they talked to him for all of 5 minutes, and he's been the best thing the universe has ever brought to me. And you know what I mean. I just knew. You just know. You know what I mean. So
How long has he been in the band?
he's it's been a year now.
Okay, that's why I'm like, I don't remember a second guitarist. That's probably
Yeah.
why, because I haven't
Well,
seen you in a year.
we are kind of an eclectic band where we unfortunately not everybody can be at the same place. Brian also plays in a Live 85 with Steve Unger, and if you don't know Steve Unger, he's also in Metal Church and like Autograph and now Limberlost. And so we have to share Brian. Sometimes our bassist can't make it. He's also in like 5 bands, and he climbs mountains. Literally climbs mountains.
Yeah,
Crazy to me. I would die. Um, and so Brian has filled in on bass before. Uh, and then our next Hollywood trip, we actually are bringing in another bass player to go down to Hollywood because our bass player can't make it. So we are very diverse in the fact that we're like the show has to go on. I'm not going to go down to Hollywood and play with Saliva and not go. You
yeah,
have to roll with the
of
punches,
course.
and that's what I'm saying. Like,
Congrats, by the way.
the band life is not an easy one. You gotta, you have to navigate through through a lot of things to make this happen.
yeah.
What for you is the hardest part about being in Trip the Wire?
That we can relate to the being in multiple bands thing. So I'm in a tribute band, and I have a solo thing, acoustic solo thing. Uh, Dave and Johnny are in like I don't know how many bands, maybe five each.
Depends which day of the week it is, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Um,
I don't know how y'all
so
do it.
the scheduling shows is probably the hardest part. Yeah, and also, having funds to do the things we want to do, like finish the album. And that's another reason we stopped tracking last year, is because, like, okay, we're done with this money. Now we need to work some more and get some more money. And we, as an original band, you really don't make a lot. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I'd say scheduling and money.
Boy, howdy.
Yeah,
I just do not know that anybody outside of a band would ever assume that it is this expensive. Um, like I'm working, 60-hour weeks sometimes. James, he's hardly ever home. I mean, I think we literally, outside of our mortgage, that's like our second mortgage. We put so much money into this. Traveling, is stupid expensive. Being in the studio, I mean, for me, I can justify that because if it comes out as good as as it needs to be, then that money is worth it. But yeah, it is. This is a life choice, man. Like, it is the most expensive thing I've ever seen. I could have bought a new car. I could have gone on vacation, but
yep,
no, I got to be a damn rock star, right? Like, you know. Okay, so guys, we got about 10 minutes
yep.
left. Um, if you could tell another musician, anything that would help them pursue their goals, their dream, what would that be? What would you say to somebody who wanted to be in the position that you're in right now? Besides get a
You
second
know,
job.
Uh,
the most
yes,
important thing, I think, the key to finding any kind of success or happiness in this is whatever you do, it's got to be authentic. I mean, you got to be you got to be loving it, because if you're not loving it,
yeah,
it makes it so much harder. And there's really no there really oftentimes there's not much of a.
I will.
There we go.
There you go. I was gonna say
There
I'll
we
just
go.
put
I
a
don't
picture
know.
of you.
Yeah. So what was I saying? Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, it's got to be authentic, because yeah, especially at the beginning. I mean, all you're going to get out of it, if you're looking for monetary rewards, there's not going to be much. So if you're hating what you're doing, and it just becomes too much work, and you wind up, it's no good.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
keep it
Like,
authentic.
tell the truth, be
Yeah.
truthful to yourself and your music, and do what you love.
Yeah.
Don't force anything. I
And
also
that's
think,
going to show through too in what you're doing, because if you are playing music authentically, I mean, people are going to pick up on that, and it's going to be much more. They're going to get more joy out of seeing you do something authentic. You know what I mean? And they're going to want to come back and see that, rather than seeing someone go through the motions of doing something they don't really want to do.
absolutely. And I feel like a lot of, people who are in the music industry but are not artists, like producers and things like that. I don't think they see that. I don't think they understand. They're like, oh, your song has to be like this length, and your song has to have this kind of a vibe if you're going to attract anyone. And it's like, well, no, if you're into that, sure. But exactly what Dave said, like, to me, the most important thing, if people are going to want to come see you, is if you're relishing in what you do and you're being completely truthful and authentic.
So again, I think I asked, but I just want to reiterate when is the
Oh,
next song that's going to be dropping? And do you guys have any shows coming up that we can be plugging right now?
oh, it's funny that you asked, because it's the same day. It's this Friday, August 22nd. Yes. It's Temporary Sanity is our next single, which drops at midnight on the 22nd. And that night we have a show at Jazz Bones in Tacoma with Gnifki and Palooka.
I'm going to put some links down below so you guys can go check that out. Since I'm going to put some links in, why don't you guys tell everybody where we can find you on your socials or YouTube? And I will also put those links in the description below. So I want everybody out there to go follow, like, share, subscribe, do that ding ding thing. Um,
Awesome. Ding,
and
ding,
go
ding.
and go and yes, ding ding. And go and support these guys. And if you have a chance and you're in Seattle, hell, if you're in Portland, they're so worth the trip up to Seattle to go up there. I have not been to Jazz Bones yet, but and if I could go this Friday, I would. But it's my only day off. I'm gonna sleep.
Oh, good for you. You deserve it.
Thank you.
Um, our website is just simply tripthewire.com. But you can find all of our other links, including that one, on our link tree, which, if you just look up Linktree, I think it's a weird thing. It's linktr.ee/Trip the Wire band, or just Trip the Wire. I'm not sure, but you'll have the links below. So,
Perfect.
and that will give you links to our website, our Facebook, our Instagram, our YouTube, all the things.
And you can find your music anywhere you can download music?
Yep.
Perfect. And so the last thing I have to ask you guys is, what do you guys want to do when you grow up? Like, what's the next evolution for Trip the Wire?
Well, I just want to get our music to the ears of as many people as possible. I just want to spread the fun, spread the joy. Just, yeah, as an individual, what I want to be when I grow up is a badass guitar player. So I've been really working super hard at guitar a lot lately. So that's my goal right now, is to just bring that up. But Trip the Wire, I want to reach people. How about you, Dave? What do you want to be when you grow up?
Do I have to grow?
It's like, I want to
I kind of
rock.
like.
I was going to say, Dave's
I
never
kind of
going
like where I am. I mean, but yeah, I'd like to see our band kind of reaching a little further out. I mean, lately we've traditionally only played in the Seattle, Everett, Tacoma area. I'd like to see us expand that base a little bit further out, where we can reach more markets. Portland, Spokane.
I'd like to get you guys down to Hollywood.
Yeah, I'd like that too.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a really doable thing. I'm very fortunate that I've got some amazing booking agents down there. Um, unfortunately, you're paying for your tickets, but
yeah,
if you
yeah.
get on the right bill, like the possibilities are endless. I mean, Beautiful Skeletons, a Paul Crosby alumni member, they went down and played with Iron Maidens and wound up with one of the biggest producers on the planet.
Wow.
Sometimes it's not a matter of them knowing who you are. Sometimes it's just a matter of you, um, kind of giving yourself that, let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
And when I went to Hollywood for the first time, I couldn't believe it. I literally left the Whiskey a Go Go stage crying, because I was just like, I can't believe I just played in front of that many people and they loved me. They really love me. But we got a chance to go down and play in San Diego. I'm telling you, San Diego would change your life too. I mean, uh, the old school vibe that used to be in Seattle and Portland, and then Hollywood and all of that has transcended really down to San Diego. And it's just really nice to get the hell out of town and go play places where you don't know anybody, and
Yeah.
to kind of see that reaction. It's a lot of fun to do, but we'll talk about that a whole nother time. So, guys, I want to thank you so much for coming on. Again, I'm going to put all your links in the description below. Please, everybody, go like, share, and subscribe. Do that ding ding thing. We are here to bring the green room in your living room, and I want to thank you for being in my studio today. Let me know when you guys are going to drop the full album. I would love to do an album release, and I do reserve the right to bring you guys back on again.
Okay.
Sounds
I would
good.
love that.
All right, you guys. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And I will see you guys hopefully again really soon. I want to share another stage with you guys soon.
Awesome. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you so very much.
All right,
Appreciate
you
it.
guys. You guys have a good day, and thank you guys. Thank you for joining us here on YouTube, and if you're listening on Metal Cross Radio, we definitely appreciate you. Don't forget to do that ding ding for us too, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, Trip the Wire. Every single week, I'm so stoked that you guys get to come into our studio and talk to some of the coolest artists from around the world and right in your living room. I absolutely love that. We're going to be back next Friday night with a brand new show, brand new radio show. And this week, we're going to be sitting down with Fatal Butterfly. You guys aren't going to want to miss this. We will see you guys next week. Until then, crank it up, keep them horns high, and we'll see you then. Good night.